official portraits of President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama have become beloved artworks of our time. The artists chosen by the Obamas were the first African Americans to paint portraits of a president or First Lady for the National Portrait Gallery. There's a new book profiling the paintings called The Obama Portraits, and we're celebrating Black History Month with the artists behind the First Lady's portrait. Please welcome Amy Sherald. Hi, Amy. To have you in studio, because we talked about when you were announced, when the unveiling happened, and now you're here in studio. Tell us what it was like when you got the official word that you would be doing the First Lady's portrait.
Yeah, I was at home in my pajamas painting, and they called me from the National Portrait Gallery, and they're like, "Are you sitting?" And I'm like, "No." And they said, "Well, we have good news." And I'm like, "What is that?" And they said, "You got the commission."
Wow.
Yeah.
I just got chills even hearing you say that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I'm sure there was so much excitement, but probably a lot of pressure too, because
immediately I felt the pressure.
Yeah, you know, everyone's going to. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to criticize it.
Yeah.
Were you concerned at all about the final outcome?
I was, but then people are so emotionally invested in her and Barack. It's like a global phenomenon. So it's impossible to make a painting that 400 billion people are gonna like, you know what I mean? So I did the best I could, and she loved it, and that's really all that mattered.
That is the bottom line. Let's talk about the creative process that you have to go through with shooting the First Lady. Tell us about it step by step.
Well, right after I got the phone call, the first thing I did was go onto the internet and look at all these images that she's taken over, her time in the White House. And I knew at that moment that I didn't want to make a painting that was anything close to her public identity. I wanted it to be something that was more private and intimate. And so we set up a photography session in DC. And this is after a process that I went through with her stylist, Meredith Coop. We picked out the dresses that we liked, and we decided that we didn't want to go with evening wear, that we wanted something casual, and obviously something sleeveless.
Right, because that's her signature, those arms.
So we had it narrowed down to 2 dresses. One of them was like a floral print, and one of them was the Millie dress. And I was drawn to that one because of, I saw it as a way to kind of connect her to Black history through quilting without it being too didactic.
Yes.
Doing some reading about you, you always paint without people smiling.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it changes the perception of the painting, and I think also being Black and learning about portraiture and understanding that we were not able to become authors of our own image until the invention of the camera. And so before then, the way that we were portrayed was kind of like slapstick, silly, things like that. So they're expressive, I think. They're happy, but they're not smiling. They're serious about who they are in that space. I think the people in my paintings know that they're present in the work, if that makes sense. So they're ready to interact with the viewer in a way that they're going to create a conversation.
Yeah, and tell us about the meaning of grayscale and when it comes to the tones, because you don't see her as brown Michelle Obama. She has this grayish tone.
For me, it was a way to make sure that the work wasn't marginalized. I wanted to produce something that was going to be universal, that everybody could see themselves in.
Got it.
And that was the way that I decided to do it. So, when you walk into your studio as an artist, you're not thinking about all these things. The first decision was it looked cool. I'm like, it would be really cool if I had gray skin and that I had, all these colors. But as you develop your practice, you start to think about things, you have conversations, and then you really understand the subconscious and how it works and what you were thinking.
Is it pretty wild to think that hundreds of years from now, when we're all gone, those paintings will still be here?
It's kind of crazy, yeah. Because it's, it's an historical moment, and it doesn't feel historical while I didn't feel historical while I was painting it, you know what I mean? I'm in Converse, and it doesn't really fit the story of probably the way that it's going to be written in history. Yeah. But it's amazing. It was an amazing feeling, and I think that was the first thing I thought of, was that not only is this going to change my life, but it's going to change, the future generations.
Speaking of changing your life, how was business before this assignment?
Yeah.
And how is business now?
Before the assignment, I was really busy. I already had a waiting list of work. I had my first show here in Chicago, actually my first solo show.
Nice.
Yeah. So It's picked up a lot. I'm not a commissioned artist, so Michelle's portrait is the only one that I'm probably ever going to paint unless there's somebody out there that I want to paint.
Okay.
So I haven't accepted any more commissions. Yeah, but now I have my first solo show in New York. I have had work in museums, and now my work is in even more museums.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I got a little more lipstick.
Yeah, a little more.
Life has been good.
Yes.
Finally, let me say finally.
Well, how many years? Think about it. When you say finally, I mean, how many years were you
An
a
artistic
struggling
pursuit,
artist?
it takes a long time, and it's not empirical. So you can work hard and it not happen.
Right.
And I waited tables till I was 38
Wow.
to support myself.
Yeah, nobody gets into the arts to get rich, right? It's just you do it because you love it.
I did it because I loved it, and it just worked out.
It worked out. Yeah, I would say so. Be sure to pick up a copy of the Obama portraits, and Amy Sherald will be at Stony Island Arts Bank tonight signing copies of her book. So, such a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.